This woman gave birth to a strange child. Not only did he learn to speak in just one day, but he also called out her name right away.
Rowan?
Rowan originally thought her special abilities had affected the child, but she never expected that after only 3 days the boy would grow bigger and bigger. Soon he had already grown to look like a 5 or 6-year-old child. He also had an enormous appetite and an extremely violent temper, but after all, he was her own child, so Rowan could only patiently spoil him. But while she was busy doing housework, the ghost in the house suddenly appeared. It said that it sensed an evil force. It gave Rowan a warning.
It's not a sin to kill the devil.
In fact, Rowan already knew. This child might have come from the witch's enemy Lasher. Although she had not carried him for 10 months, he was still born from her own body. To figure out how much of Lasher's soul remained, she used her powers on the boy for the first time. But the result was completely normal. The boy's body was no different from an ordinary human's. Rowan recorded this result. However, she put a question mark after the word human. While she was deep in thought, the boy's screams suddenly came from the bedroom. Her instincts as a mother immediately took over. She used her powers and quickly opened the door. But what she never expected was, the boy had grown even bigger again. As time passed, while the boy continued to grow, his intelligence and emotions developed as well. At 15 or 16 years old, he was at the rebellious age. He found a doll toy in the basement. Seeing this scene, Rowan was terrified. Because the demon Lasher had once possessed that very doll, she tried to step forward and take the doll away. But the boy suddenly shoved her away. In her panic, Rowan unconsciously used her powers. Looking at the blood on the ground, Rowan immediately realized she had made a mistake. But she had no experience raising a difficult child, so she temporarily left him in the care of the elders in the family. She herself went back to the hospital where she worked. She tested the glass containing the boy's blood. She wanted to find out what was strange about it. But while waiting for the test results, a little girl in a hospital room caught her attention. The girl knew she had a terminal illness, yet she was considerate enough not to make her mother cry. This was the complete opposite of the rebellious child at home. For a moment, Rowan's heart softened, so she used her powers to cure the little girl's terminal illness. But the treatment consumed a great deal of energy. While Rowan fell asleep in the chair from exhaustion, the boy grew several years older again. He had become a 17 or 18-year-old young man. When Rowan rested and returned home, she was so shocked that she did not know how to react. She wanted to give him a hug, but unexpectedly, the boy suddenly kissed her. Rowan quickly stopped this absurd behavior. They were now only a few years apart in age. Although they were mother and son, some intimate actions were clearly no longer appropriate. The boy sadly walked over to the window. Then he faintly heard laughter and playful noises coming from nearby. While Rowan was not paying attention, he secretly left the house. He sneaked into a bar where a party was being held. Looking at the incredibly wild scene in front of him, he seemed to smell the same scent that came from his mother. Tonight was destined to become an extremely crazy night. However, only a few hours later, the boy nervously knocked